to close it out with the good friend of mine who is Adrian Palmer. Adrian, if you're around, we would love you to turn on your mic and your video so that we could go and get serious about screen printing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's like, wait, what? I thought this was a DTG thing. Yes, it is, but it's okay that we have the one and only, the editor-in-chief of Screen Printing Magazine, who is with us, because guess what, guys? This is somebody who is well-versed in apparel decoration trends. And oops, I don't want to give that away too fast, too many. Adrian, thank you so much for joining us, first of all. And secondly, give me a little short bio. I know you're the editor-in-chief in Screen Printing Magazine, but you probably wear more hats than that. So what's your story?
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Jay. Last but not least, right?
You are not least. You are the closer. You are why there are still hundreds of people listening, by the way. So thank you.
Yes, of course. Great. Hi, everyone. As you mentioned, I'm Adrienne Palmer, editor-in-chief of Screen Printing Magazine. I've been with the brand for about 2 years now. I'm also the editor-in-chief of our sister publication, Big Picture Magazine, which is on the wide format digital print side. I've been in the print industry for a little over 8 years now. You can find me on, or you can find the brand Screen Printing Magazine on Instagram at Screen Print Mag, and me on Twitter at Adrian_screen, and on LinkedIn. You know, we're on all the channels, always sharing information there, an easy way to contact me.
That's awesome. Thank you. That is a great place to reach out. And I've got some specific questions. And I love the fact that you came prepared with some data.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you talk about the data and tell us a little bit about what we wanted to end on a strong note with things that are going to impact our audience. And usually that has to do with either the style of the trend or the decoration trend. And I know you're pretty well versed in both. And I don't mind if they cross over, they probably will. But tell us more about what some of your research and some of the data is.
Yeah, for sure. So here to talk about apparel decoration trends. Customization and personalization have been trending for the last few years throughout the entire print industry. As we know, direct-to-garment screen printers can offer short-run custom items to their clients. So here's some data points for you. According to Key Point Intelligence and their partner of Screen Printing Magazine, direct-to-garment print volumes are expected to recover to pre-pandemic levels and beyond by the end of 2021. And this is fueled by the surge of online shopping. And we all saw this as a major need in 2020 as brick and mortar stores closed. So if you don't have an online store or web presence, like Ali mentioned, now is the time to definitely build one, because there is going to be that resurgence. So that's some pretty good news.
That's great news.
It was pretty
you're sharing great news with us. I love that. Everybody's like cheering. You can hear them. Oh my gosh. So get prepared for the digital wave. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but that data, what it tells me is those trends were probably going to happen. But what this last 10 months did, or last year, is it kind of compressed the speed. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think 2020 kind of just kicked everybody's pants a little bit, like, okay, we got to work on this, do this, things are changing, but here we go to do it quickly. And so that definitely happened. I mean, we always have known that retail is evolving, and a lot of that is based on online. So yeah, absolutely. And with DTG, oh, go ahead.
No, you were, I just going to ask you, I know where you're going. Keep going.
Yeah, so I mean, just to get a little back to the DTG aspect of that, we can print quantity of any order with highly detailed full color designs at a cheaper price in a shorter time period. But what are those trends? What are we working with here? But before we kind of get into the top 3 that I'm bringing with you today, where are you finding your trend inspiration? Where are you going? Are you listening to your customers? Are you doing a little bit more research? So we had a poll for their screen printer audience, and 60%, they say they look to Pinterest for design trends.
Wow, that's high. I would never have guessed. 60% of the people you polled go to Pinterest for ideas. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, so if you're not on Pinterest, you definitely should be, because that's where things are trending. But to take it another step further, I actually reached out to Jeremy Picker, who is a CEO and creative director at Amber Creative.
Shout out to our buddy Jeremy, who rocks it. Love that.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's also part of the Screen Printing Editorial Advisory Board with 14 other amazing members of the screen printing industry. And so Jeremy said that he uses Pinterest. He definitely uses Pinterest, but he also uses designspiration.com. So he says it's the Pinterest, with all like the recipes and wedding stuff. He says it's very design focused. There's
I
everything
love that. That's a
from
great
fine
tip.
art to 3D graphics to print, fashion. And he said you can actually upload an entire folder of ideas straight from the site. Pinterest doesn't really allow you to do that. So that's a cool added function. But we also learned that people are finding trend inspiration on TikTok, which is
Nice.
interesting. Definitely Instagram. And as we'll talk a little bit here, things are coming back from different decades. So if you actually get archives of old fashion magazines, then that can be a way to find trend inspiration too.
Well, let's slide into that. We obviously thank you for hanging with us. We know we went a little late because of all of the hassles we had at the beginning of the session. I'm sorry I keep bringing that up. I feel terrible, but I'm so excited that so many people have stuck with us. I can't wait to talk about these, but why don't you do a better job than I do?
Yeah, sure. So we're going to talk about 3 top trends. And the first one would be do-it-yourself, graffiti scripts, and oversprays. And so much of this trend looks hand done, as if you're drawing all over the material or tagging a wall. And like I said, every decade comes back into style. So this is very early 2000s punk rocker vibes. Spray paint, airbrush, graffiti looks are in. And I talked to Jeremy, and he said his DTG adjustment for this trend is to take big blocky text and fill it with graffiti with overspray. And he likes to call it coloring outside the lines.
Oh man, he better that might be trademarked, but that's a great phrase. Coloring outside the lines. I like that. Like the overspray, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Super cool.
And then
I don't know if I have a slide that shows that. Forgive me, I should know these things, but after 2 hours, my brain is about I want to be able to share that. I think that next one was going to share a little bit of the inspiration, right? Here we go.
So I don't have a picture of the graffiti here.
Look at
there we go. There's some. Yeah, so that's just a bunch of different oversprays and all the graffiti looks. If that's something that your clients are into, definitely take a look at that. This graffiti kind of comes into this too. So AOP, this is our second trend, all over prints. After talking to Jeremy for an hour, it was like the main thing I have to come from this is that less isn't more, more is more. So you can do all over like the graffiti look, or you can do multiple locations, which was shown in that first slide. Jeremy's seen a lot of strategic logo drops, and we were talking about one hoodie. He said it had a woven label on the kangaroo pocket, a left chest print, 3 screen printed locations on one sleeve, 2 iron-on heat transfers on one side, and on the back, 3 other iron-ons. And it was being sold for $30 a pop at 1,000 units. So remember, less isn't more, more is more right now.
More is more. And that's a lot of production. But I love the fact that Jeremy reminded me, and you just brought it up, it's this concept of DTG plus something, and the treatments that you talked about, whether that's heat press, whether that's patches and embroidery, whether that's other embellishments and decorating techniques, they go hand in hand, and they really do increase the value of the final product. I thought you were going to say, yeah, and the final price of the hoodie was only $90.
Yeah.
You know what? It wouldn't have surprised me, especially at a retail location, if that was the case.
Right.
So let me just see if I can recap. So you've got the graffiti style concepts, you've got the overspray in the block, and you've got all over printing. Did I miss anything in there on those core trends?
Yeah, well, you kind of brought it up in your last comment. So DTG plus, so heat transfers, embroidery patches. So if you have a heat press, patches, appliques, specialty transfers are really popular. As you saw in the pictures, Jeremy gives Champion as an example because they do a lot of heat transfer appliques and embroidery. And you can do print with transfer or just transfer. And really by doing this, you can offer more with no extra equipment.
Let me go back to that slide because that was cool. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so you can see that there. And so if it's just if you're able to do, so maybe I should So more is more in terms of the actual design, but less is more if you want to do more with less equipment. It's very confusing.
No, it's not that confusing. I think you said it very well. I think it's also in tune with a little bit about how Roger positions it with, you really do have to understand your audience and how do you find that alignment. So some of your buyers are going to be in different markets, different segments, and have different needs. And you've got the demographics of the age group. Schools want one thing and a healthcare provider is going to want something totally different. So
Right.
which we all know that, but I think it's important that I say push the boundaries, but I think, you know what, we've honestly pushed the boundaries of our time. So I'm going to let you wrap up. Is there anything that we should know, like something fun you could surprise us with, or an announcement, besides the fact that you came up with all that amazing technology and examples and data? What else could you tell us?
Yeah, sure. So definitely want to invite everyone who's still on, or if anyone's watching this afterwards, to subscribe to the free digital edition of Screen Printing Magazine and our weekly newsletters. You can head to the brand new screenprintingmag.com. So definitely check out the new website and you can hit the subscribe button there. I'd also like to invite everyone to become part of our Brain Squad. It's our new VIP survey group of screen printing professionals. And there you can gain exclusive access to industry insight. And you can join at screenprintingmag.com/brain squad or through any of our social media channels. And of course, if you want to share insight or work together for a future issue of screen printing, you can email me, adrian.palmer@smartworkmedia.com. But as I mentioned, you can connect with me on Twitter at Adrian_screen or LinkedIn. It shouldn't be too hard to find us on whatever platform.
You're pretty visible, let's be honest. And I think it's really cool that we talked briefly about TikTok and the inspiration of finding it there. And then on the cover of your webpage, you have this amazing story of how, winning customers on Gen Z. Apparel and TikTok go hand in hand. Podcasts and sweet swag go hand in hand. And the reason they do is you have rabid fans who are willing and very capable of parting ways with their money. So love the stuff you guys are putting out right now in Screen Printing Mag. I love it seems like it's fresh. It seems like you guys are kind of hitting a new stride. So thank you again for joining us. And I hope you can stick around for the party. I don't mean to cut you off, but these guys have been rapping me and they've been saying, come on, we got to go. So you were wonderful in every way, Adrian. Thanks again. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hope you can join us and meet Adrian in our after party at the Easy Mixer. So let's say goodbye for now. You can turn off your audio and your video. We'll see you soon.